Today I will show you how you can update easily and quickly the firmware on Hikvision equipment. With almost one click, you can update the firmware not only on Hikvision cameras and recorders, but also on HiWatch models and possibly iFlow. To do this, you need to install new software from Hikvision, and now I will show you in detail how it works. Let's take a look. First, you need to install the software. The software is called HiTools Delivery, and I will add the skirt at the end. To update the equipment, we first need to log in, find our device in the search. For authorization, we need to enter the device's password and add it to the system. Now we can see that the camera is online, its current firmware, and we select our device and click the upgrade button. A field appears where the system offers us to update using a file or the get button, meaning to obtain. We click the get button. The system warns us about the new features, and it automatically inserts the serial number of our device into the field. And the system shows the most current firmware available for this device at the moment. That is the current firmware for this DVR. Next, we click to download this firmware. The firmware is being downloaded. It will be downloaded and saved in a folder on the computer. We close the window. And we see that the path to the folder has already been inserted. We automatically click OK, and the system begins updating the firmware. As you can see, there is an update status in the right corner, allowing us to monitor the firmware update process. Here we will speed up a bit. Everything is updated to 100%. Now we wait. The notification showed that one device has been fully updated, with the status applied. Now we wait for the device to reboot and reconnect. All done. The system has been updated. Now the firmware version, we have the ability to go in and view the device settings. In general, the HiTools Delivery app itself allows not only to update the firmware, but also to perform a number of useful operations. I have a separate video on my channel, which I will add soon. In this simple way, you can update firmware. And the most important thing with this method of updating firmware is that you don't need to choose your platform or camera type. In other words, all this information is no longer needed. You simply provide the serial number of your device, and the system accurately shows which firmware is suitable for you. Unfortunately, I don't know if this works when there is a firmware update that jumps several versions ahead, because previously it was necessary to update the device in sequence. Please write in the comments what you think about this method of updating firmware and how convenient it has become. And maybe someone will remember the rather old methods when we searched on various European or other countries' portals. We checked the platforms for different series of firmware and tried to find a firmware that would fit. In my experience, there was even a case when we installed an experimental firmware that fit the device, but after that, the video didn't work, and we waited for it to appear. It was precisely at this time that Hikvision implemented protection against firmware version downgrades. And for this reason, we had to wait several months until a new firmware was released, which would allow us to upgrade the version and install the most suitable one. I think each of you has similar stories. Some have encountered LTV firmware updates. Share your stories in the comments. It will be interesting and pleasant to reminisce. See you.